Hello everyone, Mehdi here. Let's take a quick look at the February 2026 market update for Victoria, BC. What changed, what it means for buyers and sellers, and the key numbers you should know.
Welcome to The Explainer, where we're digging into the latest report from the Victoria Real Estate Board for February 2026. If you're buying, selling, or just keeping a close eye on the market, you're in the right place. We're going to give you the key insights you need to know right now.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll hit the big picture theme for the month. Then, we'll dive right into the hard numbers, sales, prices, and inventory. We're also going to decode the key ratio that all the experts use to check the market's pulse. And we'll wrap up by figuring out what all this means for you as we head into spring. So, if there's one single word to describe the market right now, what is it? It's balance. Yeah, after some pretty uncertain times, it really looks like the market's found a stable middle ground. And this quote from the Real Estate Board Chair really nails it. A balanced market isn't a boring market. It's a market full of opportunity. It just means that neither buyers nor sellers have a huge advantage. And that creates a much more predictable and frankly fair environment for everybody involved.
Okay, so let's look at the actual numbers that prove the market has found its footing. This is where the data really backs up that feeling of equilibrium we're talking about.
First up, the headline number. 465 properties sold. And look, that's not just a statistic, it's a really strong signal that activity is picking up in a big way. It tells us that people are confident, they're making decisions, and deals are closing at a much healthier clip than they were at the start of the year. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. Look at that contrast. A massive 37.2% jump in sales from just last month. That shows some serious forward momentum. But at the same time, we're still down almost 12% from this time last year, which was a hotter market. That combination right there, a big surge from the recent past, but still a little cooler than a year ago, that's the classic signature of a market finding its balance.
And for buyers, this is absolutely crucial. At the end of the month, there were over 2,900 active listings. That's a 10.4% jump in the number of homes on the market compared to last year. What does that mean for you? It means more choice, plain and simple, and less pressure to make a snap decision.
So what's happening with prices through all this? Well, despite all the shifts in sales and inventory, the benchmark price for a single-family home in the core has been remarkably stable. It's only down about 0.9% from last year. This tells us that values are really holding steady, even with all these other moving parts.
And hey, this stability isn't just for single-family homes. If you take a look at this table here, you'll see the exact same pattern for condos and townhouses, just really minor price changes from last year. There are no wild swings up or down, which just reinforces that theme of market-wide balance.
But how do we know a market is officially balanced? Is it just a gut feeling? Nope. There's actually a specific metric that the pros use to diagnose the health of the market.
It all comes down to a little something called the sales to active listings ratio. Basically, it's just the percentage of available homes that actually sold in a month. It is the most direct way to measure supply and demand.
And according to the BC Real Estate Association, these are kind of the magic numbers. If that ratio drops below 17%, you're in a buyer's market. If it's over 28%, sellers have the upper hand. And that sweet spot right in the middle, well, that's our balanced market.
And there's the proof in the pudding. February's activity pushed that ratio squarely into that 17 to 28% balance zone. We're not teetering on the edge of a buyer's market anymore. This is what confirms that the supply of homes for sale is now really well matched to the demand from buyers.
Okay, so that's all the data. But what does a balanced market actually mean for your strategy? How does this affect what you should do next, whether you're trying to buy a place or get ready to sell one?
This is really the heart of it, right? If you're a buyer, it means you can take a breath. You've got more homes to look at, and with prices stable, you're much less likely to get dragged into a crazy bidding war. Now, if you're a seller, that huge jump in sales from last month shows that motivated buyers are definitely out there. It's pretty much an ideal time to plan your listing without the absolute frenzy of a red-hot seller's market.
So let's wrap this up by looking ahead. What could these trends mean for the spring season, which is traditionally the busiest time of year? Is this balance going to stick around?
The VREB Chair just perfectly captures this sense of anticipation. You've got these two really powerful forces at play, a big recent spike in sales activity and a really healthy supply of homes. How those two things are going to interact over the next few months, well, that's the big question, isn't it?
And that really leaves us with the final thought.
This equilibrium we're in right now is a fantastic window of opportunity. But with the busy spring market right around the corner, you have to ask, is this just the calm before the storm? That's what we'll be watching for next month. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.